All right, we're at Wolf Creek Rentals here in Socoa, North Carolina, and we got our two bikes. My dad's riding
About to get it.
a GS1200R for the week, but I got to take it to the tail, so we're about to head there now. All right, we're Gucci there. Looks nice, man. This, you sit up high, it's got the suspension going. Ooh, it's got GPS. All right. Oh man, that shift though. All right, let's see how we got. Let's see how we're doing here. Are we good? Let's get out of here. This thing is comfy, bro. Wow. Oh man, I feel like I'm riding on a cloud.
Okay, so right about here is where the audio actually got pretty much inaudible. The wind noise on the GoPro was just too much and you couldn't hear my voice. So I'm going to re-record the audio and give kind of my thoughts and initial impressions from riding the 1200 for the first time. Now again, I want to preface the fact that I am primarily a sport bike rider. I ride the R7 pretty much every day and prefer riding sport bikes at that. So even though I have a ton of experience on all kinds of bikes, small bikes, big bikes, cruisers, baggers, all of that, one of my least favorite and probably most inexperienced type of bike is the adventure bike. So I was very excited that I was going to rent this particular bike for my dad. He really likes this BMW. You know, we were here for 3-4 days up in the mountains in Tennessee at the tail, and for him to be able to ride that specific bike was really, really cool. Now I was excited because I wanted to try it out. Everybody always talks about adventure bikes, and I have just, I mean, the size, the weight, I just don't like the look of them really, and that's just being completely honest. I just don't like the look of the adventure bike. I just think it's bulky. I think it's big. I will say, and a little bit of a spoiler, that after I rode this bike several times throughout the few days, it really changed my mind on adventure bikes in general, especially with long distance travel and comfort in mind. So I just want to talk about that real quick, because as soon as I got on this bike, I felt the suspension. You can hear at the beginning there, I was like, wow, it feels really, really comfortable. You know, it's a very heavy bike, you know, at I think almost 600 pounds. This bike comes in, 580 pounds is what it weighs at, and 35.8 inches for your seat height. So it's a tall, heavy bike, and I wasn't expecting it to feel so light and easy for its maneuverability. So that was one of the first things that stood out to me as soon as I got on and started riding it. You start to go down the road and you immediately feel like you're just kind of floating. The active suspension in the back is fantastic. It has multiple suspension modes that you can switch between, 2 of them, which is also really, really cool. You know, I actually had my opinion changed pretty much instantly as soon as I got on it, and I immediately could feel and tell why people prefer that. And the longer I drove, with the windshield and the extra everything, you have your hand guards, you have the windshield that's blocking the wind. It really feels like you're safe, you're protected, and you're sitting up and you're just kind of floating down the road. With that being said, it is no slouch for power either. So you have almost 1200 cc's and 125 horsepower. It's 1170 to be exact as far as your cc's go, and it's got the power to really send it whenever you need it, but it still remains so smooth. BMW does a great job at putting everything together, putting all of those pieces together, and kind of course, what would you expect from a BMW? Again, I went into it not really knowing what to expect, other than the fact that, look, it's a BMW, it should be nice, it should be smooth, etc. But my expectations were exceeded the more I rode it. It handled well in the weather. We had a lot of rain that week, and my dad had a really enjoyable time despite all of the rain, just because of how well the bike handled, how comfortable it was. The more we rode, we put 400 plus miles on the bikes in 3 days, and you know, it held up, and he was comfortable, and he wasn't exhausted, and he just wanted to keep riding. So my experience with it changed my outlook on adventure bikes, and now looking at it from that perspective, I feel like that if you're going to go with an adventure bike, and you can look at something like the 1200 or the Tenere or you know, the KTM Adventure, the 1290 Adventure, any of these bikes that sit up high, that have that active suspension, that make you feel like you're sitting on a cloud as you roll down the road, the longer the miles go, the longer the trip goes, the better it's gonna feel. And truly, this bike, kind of like I said, it really changed my opinion on adventure bikes. And if you have the chance to ride a BMW, I would say do it. If you have a chance to get out there and try out this particular bike, the 1200, I give it 2 thumbs up. You know, like I said, I went into it with kind of no expectations at all, and it definitely surpassed anything that I could have thought. So that's gonna wrap it up. I really enjoyed this bike. I think that, you know, overall I give it 2 thumbs up. It was smooth, it was comfortable, it was definitely worth the ride, and definitely worth the money. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of footage from our trip to the tail and this mini review of the 1200, and thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.